Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope wherever you are in the world today has been treating you so well. In today's video I am trying another palette from SAMPLR, Sample Beauty, whatever you want to call it. They are back. I have already tried one palette from them from their first drop. That was the Neon Grunge. I will link that video up above if you want to see that. But they have had their second drop. This is the Undone palette, number 4, Undone. That is what we are going to be getting into today. So they all come packaged in this lovely silver bubble wrap bag with like a Ziploc thing across the top. The palettes look the same. All of the palettes look the same with the same outer packaging. So it's just the sleek white metallic packaging with the neon yellow bind. The names, or rather the numbers, because the shades are just numbered, are across the back there. So like I say, this is the Undone palette and this is what it looks like inside. She is neutral, she is warm, she is all of the brown tones. I'm obviously very interested in this shimmery shade here, but this is what we are going to be getting into today. I am going to do some swatches and then I'm going to come up with some sort of look. I'm going to go off and do the swatches though, because last time it took me far too long and it just took up the whole video. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch all of these shades on my arm and we can see what the colour story looks like, because sometimes I feel like, you know, it's got the white, it's got the black. It's good to see the colours just swatched out on bare skin, see what the tones look like without any of the other contributing factors to what might skew what the colours look like. But I will say I was very impressed with the first drop from SAMPLR, the Neon Grunge palette that I tried. I was very impressed with it. So I've got high hopes for this one as well. Let's stop rambling, let's get into some swatches and then we can do some sort of eyeshadow look together. Okay, so I couldn't get the full amount of swatches just on one arm, so I'm gonna have to like twist myself around a little bit to show you all of the colours, but that is how the whole palette is looking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is the first row. Just there, very pretty cool tones. Then the cool tones continue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the second row, starting to get a little bit more neutral, a little bit more away from like the greys and more into like the neutrally tones. Then we've got a load of beautiful like pinks and berry tones in the third row with the like the matte shades here, really pretty onto the third row. Then this arm is where the fourth row is, these ones here, and this shade and this shade are ever so slightly shifty. A little bit, I wouldn't go as far as to say duochrome, but they have some little glitters in that sort of catch the light in a really interesting way. And then the last row and the shimmers, these three here on the last row are so smooth and so like metallic. That was just like one swipe for all of those. So that is what the colour story is looking like. I, as always, don't know what I'm going to do, but I don't actually know what sort of colour way I want to do. I would definitely say that swatching this out, I'm noticing more warm tones. Like this is all warm tones basically on this arm, and this is the bottom two rows. And then obviously you've got like the pinks. There's also like some slightly more green leaning shimmers. They've got a little bit of like a khaki green sort of feel to them. So what do I want to do? Let's do something not just a smoky eye. I might try and do like a halo eye with some of these like warmer tones. I also really like the look of this deeper berry tone, so I might do something like that. I have already put on the Milani eyeshadow primer because it says to put it on and leave it for 30 seconds, so I've done that. It's been 30 seconds. It's been more than 30 seconds, and let's just create. Let's just do something. So I will start with a big fluffy brush and let's just put something through the crease. Let's go in with this tone here, which looks like this in the pan. I will say this, when you're using the palette, gets real annoying. I might have to cut that like little flap of paper out of the palette because the neon grunge that I've already got and have been using, it's obviously got that in as well, and it just gets real annoying. I don't have the patience for that, so let's just lightly wiggle this through the crease a little bit. There we go, so I'm happy with that. So let's now take a teeny tiny little brush and I'm just going to go straight in with that darker, like plummy shade, and I'm going to tap that really lightly on the very outer corner and the very inner corner. Very lightly. Because I don't want this to get crazy. Is it going to? Absolutely it is, but I can pretend to be in control just for a moment. Okay, so I've also just blended that like into that first shade that I have put down. Honestly, that is just blending so beautifully. I'm very impressed with the matte shades in these palettes, I can tell you that for free. So let's just think. What sort of direction do I want to go in? I do really like these shimmers, but obviously I'm very interested in these ones that are a little bit more like duochrome-y. I also really like this shade that is hidden up under my bracelet there. It's almost like a sheer like little wash of something. I'm just not sure if that shade will go with like the more red tones. Let's take a little bit of this slightly lighter pink, which looks like this in the pan. So this is the red one that I've already got on, and I'm going to go with a little bit of this one again, a matte shade, and I want a slightly smaller brush. Let's go in with this one, nice little tapered brush, and I will use that just to sort of tap over the edge, just sort of on the lid a little bit. I do feel like probably at some point I am going to do a 3 looks with video with the neon grunge, because obviously there's like loads of different colours in that one, but I also feel like I could do 3 looks with this because I could go really cool toned, I could do something a little bit more green, like there's so many different tones within a neutral palette. I feel like there's a few different ways that you could go with this palette. Obviously a warm brown smoky eye is the obvious answer, but I don't know, sometimes I really find neutrals very inspiring, and then other times I'm like, no, I require all of the colour. So if you'd like to see 3 looks with this palette, let me know, I can do that. I could probably post that in Everyday October because I've got 31 videos to film next month. Send help. I really like this pink tone actually. It's almost lilac-y. It's very pretty, and it is just blending out that more berry tone beautifully. So a little wiggle more and I think I'm happy with that one. I'm going to try and not wing this out and whack myself in the nose. I'm going to try and not wing this out. I'm going to try and like round it on the outer corner when I've got the rest of my face done. So I'm just going to take a shimmer and put it right down the middle, and I think I'm going to use this one, which is the slightly deeper of the two, but it's still lighter than what I've got on. So those 2 shimmers there, the first one and the third one are this one and this one. So I'm going to go in with this one just on my fingertip, and I'm just going to place that straight down the middle of my eye there. Pretty. And then I'm not going to take any more of that pink colour, that mid-toned colour that I just placed down, but I'm just going to use that same brush just to tap over the edges of that shade. And I think I'm happy with how that's looking. Then I'm just going to take a really dense brush, she says, without checking if she's got a clean one. This one will do, just a little pencil brush, and I'm going to dip into that first, this one here. I'm going to dip into this one and just place that directly on the centre. And I'll blend it out a little bit, but like not a crazy amount. Just to really highlight the very centre of the eye, and I think I'm happy with that. The eyeshadow primer wasn't that tacky, so the shimmers aren't like foiled. They haven't like properly grabbed onto that primer. I'm still figuring out this Milani primer, and I don't think it's my favourite. I don't think I prefer it over the e.l.f. one. It doesn't stay very tacky. I do feel like a tacky primer would really intensify this, but I am going to go ahead, clean up the under eye, not sharpen this up too much. I'm just going to clean this up, do the rest of my face, and then we can finish up under the eyes. Okay, so that is the rest of the face done, and let's finish up the eyes together. I'm going to just use that same red shade, the darkest shade there. I probably shouldn't call it red. It's a plummy purpley tone, but it's the most sort of red toned that we are using today. So just going to tap that on the outer corner and sort of round this shape out a little bit. Tiny little tapping motions just to round the outer corner like so, and then going in with that other smaller brush that I was using for the more lilac-y, like pinky purple tone, just going to take a bit more of that slightly lighter shade, that mid-tone shade, and run that along the rest of the lower lash line, and just using that to sort of soften out this outer corner as well, like so. I think I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to take that smaller, more dense brush that I used to wipe that shimmer down the centre, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of that same lighter shade that we used down the middle of the eye, and I'm going to pop that right onto the inner corner, because even though I have done a halo eye, so it's a slightly different shape than what I usually do, I still like a nice bright inner corner, and I'm just going to really build that up right on the inner corner and drag that along the lower lash line a tiny little bit. Oh, I really like that shade. I knew I would. I knew that I would really like that one. That really is a very pretty, warm inner corner shade. I really like that. So I'm just going to do some mascara. This is the Essence Lash Like a Boss. Just going to do some mascara, and then we are done. I always forget how much I enjoy a halo eye, and then I do a halo eye and I'm like, oh, I like that. Surprisingly enough. Okay, so that's my first impression done. My first look with the Undone palette. We've gone very sort of plummy, very autumnal. Can you tell? It is what is it, like the middle of September, and I am already full in autumn mode. I am ready, okay? I was ready in August. I am so excited for autumnal makeup. But that is the finished look. A halo eye, trying to do something a little bit different. But that is my first impression. I'm very impressed with this colour story. Like, I'm very impressed with the variety of the tones. I'm excited to play with this one more. I love how this has turned out. So, as always, I would love to hear if you have this palette. I would love to hear what you think of it, what colours you've been putting together, what looks you've been creating. I would love to hear your thoughts. I will, of course, leave this linked along with everything else that I'm wearing on my face today. If you'd like to see some more looks with this palette or with the other palette from SAMPLR, the Neon Grunge, I will be doing more content with both of those palettes soon. Couldn't tell you when, but I will be at some point, so subscribe if you want to see that. If there's anything else new to the cruelty-free and affordable makeup market that you want to see reviewed, be sure to let me know. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye.